in yoga, we don't promote dairy, at least not in the school of yoga that I follow, except for buttermilk and ghee. Dairy and dairy products is an absolute no-no for a yogi. What is your take on milk and milk products?
I respect yoga. I respect Ayurveda. It's an ancient science. I also respect 2024 science of being able to individually, bio-individually test a person. When I meet a client and they ask me the exact same question that you asked me, the first question I say is, does milk agree with your genetics? Have you tested for it? Does milk agree with your food intolerance blood test? Yes or no? If I get no's for both, as a judge, I prescribe the decision, milk is not good for you. And if it says there is no issue with milk in your genetics or in your blood test, I prescribe milk. My logic is, in today's world, I go for a better version of milk, which is the fermented milk, yogurt or cheese, if you are pro milk as per your genetics or blood test. So at the end of the day, I look at the medical condition, I look at the gender, I look at the age of a person. And if I am prescribing milk, I have one criteria that's very important. It's organic. Most of our farming practices today are driven by the animals being fed wrongly. So antibiotics, anti-parasites given to these animals, and the byproduct of these animals will contain trace amounts of that, which can come into the circulatory system of the human body. For example, antibiotic resistance. It is documented that dairy animals are fed high amounts of antibiotics.
And even testosterone, right?
And they're fed various other hormonals, including oxytocin for more milk production. Now, people will argue with me that the hormones are broken down in the acid of the stomach and all of that stuff. But logically, I ask this question, our grandmothers hit puberty at 14, 15, 16. So cows 100 years ago weren't injected to produce more milk. And in the last 30 to 50 years, we're seeing girls reach puberty between 8 and 10.
Yes.
What's the reason? Is it microplastics? Is it the water? Is it the food chain? And in the food chain, could dairy be the culprit? So I'm a huge proponent of buy your own cow, own your own cow if you're going to have milk. Now, if you can't do that, look at organic. And if you do the testing, like my son and me both can't have milk, so we shift to alternatives, which is water.
What about the vegan forms of milk, nut milks?
I think there are more marketing activities.
Okay.
So I'd rather eat an almond than drink an almond milk.
Okay.
But you know what? I love my coffee white because I was brought up that way. So I either do a coconut milk or an almond milk. I don't do an oat milk because I am allergic to oats. Okay. Because I got myself tested. But oat milk is also good. We can do a soy milk. So people say, oh, but soy is GMO. So I do non-GMO based soy milk. A person who's above 50 years of age who has cholesterol problems, soy milk actually lowers cholesterol. So I cannot assassinate any food. At the same time, I hold a gun to a food, asking it to prove its worthiness to be in my client's body. So I remember when a Netflix documentary got released many years ago called Game Changers.
Yeah.
And I have like hundreds of athletes, and they saw that documentary, and all the male athletes knew that that documentary said that the men got more erections. So all my male athletes wanted to go vegan, which means that to eliminate milk. So we did eliminate milk. And we all saw resting heart rate drop. We all saw that inflammatory markers dropped. We did see drop in vitamin B12 and vitamin D also. So it's not that I'm promoting veganism, but I'm also saying that they had better outcomes of inflammatory, but we also saw drop in muscle mass. Because dairy in the form of casein protein or whey protein or eating curd or having milk as a smoothie was able to promote a higher protein content in the diet, thus thereby maintaining muscle mass. For example, men above the age of 40, ask them not to drink milk because there are research papers talking about casein affecting prostate. So I look at the prostate antigen as a cancer marker in the blood. And if the prostate antigen is higher, PSA test is higher, then I'm like, I don't want you to be having milk in your tea and coffee. No, but all my life, I don't want you to have it. So I take a judgment call decision in protecting my client long term. Now, the food industry may not like this. I am for milk and I'm also not for milk. You please understand, the number of cattle hasn't increased over the years, but the quantity of production of milk from the dairy industry has increased. Therefore, yield has increased. How do we do that? Scientifically, yes. Is it compatible for the human race? Did you know that milk in the ancient time was not pasteurized and had the right bacteria in it and the wrong bacteria which caused aggressive disease, which is why they pasteurized milk? But in today's world, we are getting milk which is sterile, right? Pasteurized at 180 degrees flash point and it's stored in Tetra packs. Now, is this milk really helping us? I'm not too sure. So as a nutritionist, as a judge, I'm always sitting on the line saying that I don't believe any food is bad, but I also don't give it a crown of glory, case to case basis.
If you enjoyed watching this content, you can watch the full in-depth video on the Body to Being podcast hosted on Shlloka YouTube channel. To continue watching shorter pieces of this content, you can subscribe to Shlloka Clips on YouTube. Don't forget to like this video and follow us on Spotify. Pranam.